So obviously last week's video was filmed before the world went even more on fire than it already was, specifically the United States. So I'm sure you will see that I added another new link down in the description, a help link. Please check that out. Take time to rest, take time to mourn, because this is fucking terrifying and it's only gonna get worse if we don't fight and resist as much as we can, but take time to rest and be ready for that. And listen to Black and Indigenous people of color, because they've been fighting these fights far longer than we white women have been. So make sure you pay attention to them, listen to what they have to say, because they are the ones that know how to organize, how to get ready for protest, how to keep yourself safe at protest. Listen to them. Hello Friendsies, welcome back to my channel. As I said, the world, and specifically this country, is kind of on fire, and everything is kind of sucky and really sad, so I wanted to do kind of a goofy video today. I think it's goofy because I have a couple people in my friend group that are like, you will find out my AO3 history if the devil comes and takes my phone out of my hands and nothing more. So I want to specifically go into my phone. My phone is, hold on, hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's Baby Bucky by Noble Demons. It's Baby Bucky in a little cat suit. I want to go on AO3, find my favorite ships that I like read fanfics of often. Here we are. I want to find my favorite ships and read the top fanfic at the top of like all of those based on Kudos, because I thought that would be funny and kind of silly, and I don't know, might be a good time. Maybe it'll make people smile. I am trying to use this as a distraction for me and for you, so let's get into it. Okay. We are going to start specifically in my bookmarks because I have 1,078 bookmarks. Listen, don't judge me if these are not characters you ship, ships that you like. I don't want to hear it, okay? We're doing this for shits and giggles. We're going to sort and filter. The first one, Ganondorf, Link, and Zelda from the Legend of Zelda fandom. And the first one that is listed by Kudos is Interim by Stark Raving. She has no throne. Girls without throne should not have knights, but hers won't go. Princess Zelda, the girl who killed Calamity, would love to fade into legend, but Link spot a house, he's fighting off monsters, and he's selling giant horses to strangely familiar Gerudo men. She'll never have peace now. I have read Interim. Fan-fucking-tastic. If you're in the Legend of Zelda fandom, when the first like trailer came out and we saw Ganondorf's corpse and everybody started making fan art of like rehydrated Ganon, if you want basically like a telling of how the three of them are the parts of the Triforce but also end up together, basically not enemies but friends and lovers, Interim I think is fantastic, and is also an incredible telling of how to break an internal cycle, because I think that perhaps Breath of the Wild 2 will have a breaking of the cycle of the Triforce and reincarnation. So if you want kind of a story about that, that is perfect. I cried a lot, so this isn't like a haha funny. I cried. Alright, next we have Steve Rogers, Tony Stark. Stony, my 2012, we're a found family, we live in the tower together. We stopped at Captain America and the Winter Soldier long enough to pick up Sam and Bucky, and everybody lives in the tower and we're all happy. That is, I don't want to hear it, okay? Stony is like my #1, like, first Marvel ship ever. So we're gonna sort and filter by Kudos. The Twice Told Tale by Asteria, I think? For someone he's heroed worshipped for so long, Steve Rogers in the flesh is a pretty big disappointment. For one thing, he keeps looking at Tony as though he reminds him of someone else. Even if he never says anything, Tony's pretty sure it's his father. A lifetime of not measuring up to Howard's expectations is more than enough. Thank you very much, and he's certainly not going to make an effort to live up to Steve. Steve's pretty clearly failed to live up to his expectations in any case, and that's not hypocritical at all. It's 15,000 words. I've never read this one. That actually looks really good. That looks really good. I'm gonna have to read that. I'm gonna have to go through, re-watch this video, and decide which ones I want to watch. Let's do specifically Ganondorf and Link without Zelda involved, because Gan Link without her is delicious, and then with her is also good. One that's just the two of them. Sands of Time, because Interim is also listed as the first one of this, but Sands of Time by Tiersany, hopefully I'm saying that right. Link awakens in the desert with no idea of how he got there to encounter his worst enemy, except it was the king of the Gerudo, not the king of evil he faced. Sands of Time is so fucking good. I think it's based... Yeah, they have it tagged as Legend of Zelda Other Fandoms, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I am very much picturing Breath of the Wild, like, rehydrated Ganon fan art when I was reading this. If you have not played Ocarina of Time, if you want to read Sands of Time, take a second just to look at pictures of the Gerudo Fortress and of the Spirit Temple if you're going to read this, because I think having the imagery in your head of these locations will be really helpful. And because I have played Ocarina of Time for most of my childhood, it puts you right there. The way the writing is done in Sands of Time, it puts you in the story. We're gonna do Bucky and Tony. My biggest fault is that I love Tony Stark. The Robert Downey Jr. like face with the personality fanfiction has made of Tony Stark, I am in love with him. That is my biggest fault. I admit to it. I am no better than a fanboy, alright? I will fully admit to it, but I fully believe that Bucky and Tony deserve all of the love in the world, so when they give it to each other, I'm into it. So, the first one that's listed is Hide a Heart of War by Rei Shibuya Uchiha, so hopefully I'm saying that right. You got war in your heart, Tony, Howard sneers. Don't even try and pretend to be anything but what you are. Tony feels the familiar burn of a flower mark being etched into his skin, but he doesn't look. Doesn't try and check to see what it is. Instead, he keeps eyes on Howard and his hands cupped around his bleeding mouth and nose. I have read that one. I've read that one. It's really, really good. It's really sad. It's, yeah, a soul mark AU, like Soulmates AU, and it's, has anybody else read AUs where it's like, you get like the tattoo of like your soulmate's first words or to you, or like a flower to represent your soulmate, or like matching soulmates? It's very that, but it's Tony having tattoos that don't like only represent his soulmates. He has like flower tattoos that grow on him every day, like based off of different things that happen to him, not just for his soulmate. And it's, well, it's okay, so this is Stuckoni. It's not Winter Iron. It's Steve, Bucky, and Tony. So okay, let's find one just Bucky and Tony. Give me a second. Oh, let's do, before we find that one, we're gonna do Derek and Styles, because that is the next one that showed up on my bookmarks. I've never watched Teen Wolf ever in my life. Everything I know about Teen Wolf I found out on the internet, so this is really fun to me. At the top of the kudos for Derek and Styles, Lock All the Doors Behind You by Entangled Now. He has no idea what you're supposed to say when you find out your werewolf acquaintances completely out of their mind, growling like they're about to see what your insides taste like. There's no handbook for this. Styles is thinking that if he survives, he might write one. I've never read that one. Aftermath of Torture. Interesting! Because the one right under it, Stilinski's Home for Wayward Wolves, I have in fact read, and it's one of my favorite fanfictions of all time. Again, I've never watched Teen Wolf. Anything I know about Teen Wolf is because I'm chronically online, and I follow people that are obsessed with Teen Wolf and will occasionally like reblog things about it. But Stilinski's Home for Wayward Wolves, I am in it when I'm there. Like, I'm watching a movie. I'm not reading a fanfiction, I'm watching a movie whenever I read it. And Stilinski's Home for Wayward Wolves is by Owl Post again. So, check that out if you're into it. Maybe if I specifically say just Bucky and Tony, I won't get one with Steve in it. Because while I love Bucky, Steve, Tony, I just want them. Okay, so I had to go down one because Hide a Heart of War is still at the top. But Such Sweet Revenge by Ali Aliska? Again, hopefully I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm so sorry. When the Rogues are back in the States after being pardoned, the new Avengers want nothing to do with them, and as far as Tony is concerned, if he never speaks to them again, it'll be too soon. After all, he didn't spend the last year putting himself, and his family, back together only for his former co-workers to ruin all his hard work. But then he gets a handwritten letter from the Winter Soldier himself apologizing for the events that transpired, and an offhanded comment from Rhodey about Rogers failing to take care of an obviously miserable Bucky Barnes sets in motion Tony's new oh-so-evil plan to get payback. After all, what better revenge than to steal the Winter Soldier away from his best friend? The only problem? Tony sucks at being vengeful, but apparently he's an expert at inadvertently falling in love. If you are a Steve Rogers fan and want to see absolutely zero slander of Steve Rogers ever, do not read Such Sweet Revenge. Because there is heavy Steve Rogers slander, and there is heavy Wanda Maximoff slander. I love both of them. Okay? I have not watched WandaVision yet, but I know it slaps. My calendar for this month by, oh my god, I forgot exactly who made this calendar, but I'll put it here. My calendar has Sam, Steve, and Bucky because all three of them have been Captain Americas and it's July. I love Steve and I love Wanda. However, fan fiction is fun to read shit that you would never think you would ever want to read. Like there's a lot of fanfic that's like dystopian, like zombie apocalypse. I'm not into that at all. I don't want to play those kind of video games. I don't want to read those kind of books. I will read fan fiction of it because fan fiction is fascinating and interesting and I love it. This is Steve Rogers slander, heavy. This is Wanda Maximoff slander, heavy, but it's so fucking good because it really is Tony being how I see him, and also Bucky learning to be a person again. So 10 out of 10, you should go read Such Sweet Revenge. Do we do Stucky? Did we do good old Stucky? Everyone's favorite ship of all time, literally ever. I don't think we did. Hold on. If I'm doing this again, I'll see it in editing. All right, sort and filter. So we have Mistake on the Part of Nature, and it's by Idiopathic Smile. Did I read that already? I don't know. Steve takes in Bucky's betrayed look and Sam's confusion, following Sam's gaze to the pile of mangled fruit in the trash can. Suddenly, comprehension fills his face. Oh, he says, Bucky found out about bananas. I'm getting notifications in which an American icon is mourned, but probably not the one you're thinking of. This is the top of the Kudos, but it's very short. It's only 1,200 words. That's really interesting to me. I've never read it before, so I'm actually probably gonna have to go back and read that. Who else do we have? I feel like I covered Marvel. Oh, hold on. Bucky and Clint, sniper boyfriends. One of my favorite things in the world. Let's see what the top of that is. Clint and Barton's Super Secret Snipers Club by Sarah Holmes. Clint Barton's Super Secret Snipers Club, say that 5 times fast, invitation and pending mental health evaluation required. When Steve brings Bucky back to the tower for the first time, Clint's first thought is that Tony Stark's pride and joy is quickly becoming less of a very tall and expensive fuck you in the faces of investors who don't believe in self-sustaining energy, and more of a superhero rehabilitation center, boyfriends, compromises, and learning to like oneself. It's 67,000 words, and it's 8 chapters long. I've never read that, and I'm going to need to read that. That sounds so good. I love Winterhawk. Don't get me started. Winterhawk is probably... I love Stucky. Don't get me wrong. Stucky is everything. It's what should have happened. Winterhawk? Brainwashed? Snipers? Loves Natasha Romanoff? Has a crush on Steve Rogers? Tell me I'm wrong. Literally perfect for each other. Let me see. I'm going to go to bookmarks again. We're going to start at the top of bookmarks and we're going to filter. Let me see what the relationships I have tagged. I have Bucky and Steve, Bucky and Tony, Bucky and Clint, Steve and Tony, Derek and Styles, Bucky, Steve and Tony together. Oh, Bucky and Sam! That's another good one, Sam. Go through my bookmarks just so I can get it, and then we're going to go to all of the works that are on AO3. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Kudos, sort and filter. Let's see what the top one is. Twitter is on to something. Oh my god, and it has Bruce and Thor. Okay, we're gonna go in Bruce and Thor too, because Bruce and Thor is the good shit. Some people think the Avengers are just a bunch of gay, meme-loving fucks. They're right. Okay, we're not gonna do that one, because that's everybody. But the first one that's listed in Kudos, that's just Sam and Bucky. Warm Blood Feels Good, I Can't Control It Anymore, by not Casey Pollard. Okay. Sam's just chilling, watching TV one morning when Bucky comes in and stares at him silently for a minute or two before sitting down on the couch. He's pretty close to Sam. Okay, he's really close to Sam. Like Sam would be using the word cuddling if it wasn't so bizarre. What, he says, carefully not looking at Bucky, and Bucky huffs a sigh. Steve's not here, he says as if it's obvious. Don't make it weird, just shut up. That sounds really good. I haven't read that one either. One of my favorites is kind of like like the writers telling of like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but them falling in love during it. Kind of like the aftermath of the show, but then like them falling in love in the middle of it, and that was fantastic. There's a whole scene where they're like standing in a Walmart. Alright, Friendsies, like I said, everything is on fire. This is the first video that I've, like, been able to actually address it, because last week's video was filmed, I believe, a week in advance as to when it was posted, so this week was me acknowledging it and talking about it, because I need to acknowledge it and talk about it. Anything I share on Twitter is going to be the tweets that you should go for. I don't have anything to say on the matter. I don't have enough knowledge on politics, on any actual like medical anything, how to protest. I don't have any knowledge. I'm very much learning with you. If you are also somebody learning, do not be listening to people like me about this kind of stuff. The only ones you should be listening to really are like doctors who know what they're talking about. You should be listening to, if you are somebody that is going to protest, first of all, stay safe. Second of all, listen to Black and Indigenous people of color, especially Black and Indigenous women. Listen to them. They've been fighting this fight and they've been affected by this stuff a hell of a lot longer than any of us have. And they know what the fuck they're talking about. Do not put on your fucking little Handmaid's Tales outfit and like put on warrior paint and shit. That's so dumb. If that is your entire idea of how you're going to do the protesting, don't fucking go. Be able to run a mile. That's all I'm gonna say. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and I hope you liked this kind of like goofy little, I don't know, like distraction video. I will go through my bookmarks. I maybe should have gone through my bookmarks and not just like the top ships that I read, but I kind of wanted to do like a silly little distraction, and I know a couple of my friends, like I said, who will give up their AO3 history never. I wanted to say by like pain of death, but even in death they will not give it up. I hope they are watching this and cringing, because I think it would be really funny. Love you guys! Anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! I used to read subtitles.